This is Superman. Welcome to Godfall 101.
Welcome everyone to Godfall 101, and thanks for being here. So with Godfall being less than 30 days away, I really just wanted to put some of my thoughts out there, and I think this video will be a good way of doing that. Also, I want to remind everyone of the Godfall giveaway I'm doing over on Twitter. You can win $70 toward Godfall, or whatever you want really. I'll drop the link in the description below. As always, I'm going to put out this disclaimer that I'm not telling you how to feel. If you are super hyped about this game, I'm really excited for you. If you don't come near this game because you don't agree with its always online policy, then I'm bummed that there's a part of this game that is keeping you from playing it. This is not me taking a stance, it's just me trying to let people enjoy what they want. We tend to make video game decisions way too personal. You can look around on the internet at any Xbox or PlayStation post on Twitter and you'll see what I mean. There have been a lot of comments in the comment section recently about Godfall and an overall fear of maybe the game will not live up to their hype. Or it'll be another Anthem or Avengers. I feel the same way on a certain level. One thing I've always tried, and I'll emphasize try, is to manage my expectations, and I don't always succeed at that. I have boarded many hype trains and rode full speed into the fiery crash that was the launch of Anthem, or The Division, or Destiny and Destiny 2 for that matter. We all have that game that we can point to that got us really excited, but it failed to live up to our hype. I am excited for Godfall, I really am. I think the art direction and the combat look really cool. Valorplates are amazing looking, and wielding giant weapons that can be pulled from the spirit realm is really just my jam and all I've ever wanted. But I am trying to manage my expectations. I keep reminding myself that this is a small team. A team that's working remote, working during a pandemic, and a team that has only made one other game together, Duelist the card game. And Duelist was a great game that had a very devout following, but working with Bandai Namco had its issues and ultimately the game was shut down. Remember all those games I listed off? That after the initial launch everyone was complaining about limited content, bugs, balance, and a whole litany of other complaints? And I'm not here to say that those players were wrong to complain, I'm just saying that those games were made by very large teams. From studios that had released many other titles, and Counterplay Games is a small team by comparison. But also they have a lot of experience and talent in the industry. But I keep reminding myself that this is a small team. That is not to say that small teams cannot make great games, they absolutely can. Supergiant Games is a great example of that, and there are many others. But I think we have very high expectations when it comes to how much content we want at launch, or how much we deserve for the money we spend. I think the looter genre by default suggests this never-ending loop of content to do, gear to get. We do the content again to get better gear and repeat until what? Until we get bored? Until we max out everything the game has to offer? What is that point of, hey, I think I'm done for now? Or I finished this game and I got my value for the game? All looters have story, but we often think that the story is second seat to loot or to the numbers. So when is the game enough? I don't know the answer to this. I've played hundreds of hours of Anthem, but when I ask myself if I got a complete product, I can for sure say no. We didn't get what we were promised. But when I played over 300 hours and paid $60 for that, that's like 20 cents an hour. So I wrestle with my return on investment. I mean, I obviously got my money's worth, but did I? Like, who decides that? And really, I want to ask you all how you feel on the subject. I want to have a conversation or dialogue that isn't just one side spitting their opinion at the other side with no desire for discourse. We get enough of that in every other aspect of our lives. I mean, how many of you have kids? You know what I'm talking about, right? So tell me, how do you feel about the looter genre? When do you say you've received value for the game? Is it different for looters compared to single-player games? I will say that the money I spent playing Control was by far some of the best money I've ever spent on a game. I think Control is a masterclass in level design and gameplay. I easily received the full value for the money that I spent, which was $60 for the game and added DLC. And I would gladly spend more money on the game. And Hades was only $25, and I feel like I received the same value for that game as well. But when I think of buying Quest 64 back in 1998, which was kind of Nintendo's answer to losing the Squaresoft partnership, Granted, I was a younger person and saving up enough money to buy a game was much more difficult, and the money meant more to me because it was so hard. And maybe that's why it hurt more? As we get closer to launch, I start to think about the community that will form around the game. And to some extent, I think that after seeing many rough launches of the looter genre, I kind of get nervous for the devs of these games. I know someone from BioWare that worked on Anthem that disappeared from social media because of the backlash. If there's one thing that I hope players remember, is that humans make games. Real people with families, hobbies, interests outside of work, problems outside of work. Remember that a lot of the devs don't even make the high-level decisions that might frustrate us when the game is released. There's artists, sound engineers. There are a lot of different disciplines that go into making video games. I always ask at the end of these videos that people be kind to each other. Like I said in the beginning, I don't like telling people what to do or how to feel, except for this one exception. Just remember, if the game does not live up to your expectations, just be kind. Give your feedback, voice your concerns, but for the love, just be kind about it. I guarantee that the same issues a lot of us have with games after launch, the developers are aware and probably did the best they could to address them before launch and have plans to do so after launch. But just remember to be kind. The looter genre will always have one major problem the developers will always have to face: loot. The name of the genre is looter, and there are only so many times as a player you can run the same exact piece of content over and over for another piece of loot. That is just the nature of the looter, and I think this is where I need to rein in my expectations. Looters always struggle after the initial release. Godfall may be different, or it may have the exact same problems, but my hopes are that Godfall delivers a fun single-player experience and a fun endgame loop that keeps me engaged and wanting to try all 12 Valorplates. Now, I don't know how many hours that equals. We have been told that it will be as long as God of War 2018, which is approximately 20 hours to beat. So if you put the looter portion aside, is that enough value for your money? Again, does making it a looter change the equation? Are living games meant to have you living in the game? Or have we assigned too many expectations to the looter genre? So let me know in the comments below, and like I said, please be kind to each other.